Let's be honest, most people think getting rich requires doing something massive, like starting a business, hitting crypto at the perfect time, winning the get-rich lottery ticket of a lifetime. But then they completely ignore the truth nobody wants to hear. Wealth doesn't happen in explosions. It happens in small moves, quiet, boring, consistent ones, the kind of moves that don't look impressive on Instagram. But years later, everyone's asking you, how the heck did you do it? So by the end of this video, I'm revealing 10 small moves that build massive wealth over time. And if you master just half of these, you'll quietly become richer than most people who ever touch a get-rich-quick course. Because here's what 99% of people get wrong. They chase big wins instead of building tiny habits that compound forever. Let's jump in. And pay attention because these moves are small. But the ripple effects? They'll change your entire financial life. Move number 1. Automate the boring stuff. Now, I kind of hinted at this in one of our previous videos, but you know what ruins more financial dreams than bad luck? Manual effort. It's like if you have to remember to save, invest, or budget, you've already lost. Wealthy people build systems that make discipline automatic. Because let's face it, we all say we'll start saving next month, and then next month turns into next year faster than your paycheck disappears. Here's the move. Automate a set amount to transfer into your savings or investment account every payday. Set up auto bill pay for recurring expenses. Route your wealth before your wants. When your money moves without you, wealth builds without friction. I'll even give you a real-world example. Warren Buffett once said, "Do not save what is left after spending. Spend what is left after saving." Automation does exactly that. It removes emotion, procrastination, and human error. Think of automation like a treadmill that keeps running even when you don't feel like exercising. Miss a day? Doesn't matter. The system doesn't miss. Most people think automation is too small to matter. But that's the irony. Small things always scale. Speaking of small things that grow massive, move number 2. Treat time like it's money, because it is. Now, I want to ask you a serious question, because here's a wild thought for you. If you wouldn't light a $100 bill on fire, then why do you keep burning your time like it's free? Most people don't realize time is money. Literally. It's the only currency you can never earn back once it's gone. The middle class spends hours trying to save $10. The wealthy spend $10 to save hours. Think about that for a second. Most people will drive across town to save 50 cents on gas, but won't spend 30 minutes reading about how to double their income. That's not frugality. That's financial self-sabotage disguised as effort. Here's the small move. Start tracking your time like it's cash flow. Just like a budget for your money, create a time budget. Ask yourself, how many hours do I spend consuming instead of creating? How much of my week actually moves the needle on my wealth, health, or peace? And if time is my most valuable asset, am I earning a return on it? You'll be shocked when you see where your hours go. Scrolling, reacting, overthinking. It's all interest payments on wasted potential. Here's how wealthy people treat time differently. They look for leverage multipliers. If spending $100 on a tool, app, or service saves you 5 hours, that's not an expense, that's a profit. Because those 5 hours could be used to learn, build, or even rest. And rest, by the way, fuels better decisions that make you richer. Let me just give you a real-world example. Jeff Bezos once said his job is to make a few high-quality decisions per day. That's it. Because when your time gets more valuable, you stop doing things that don't pay their worth. So the rule is simple. If it doesn't multiply your money, your knowledge, or your peace, it's a bad use of time. And remember this, money can buy back time, but time can't buy back money. And once you learn to value time like a rich person, the next logical step is to value your money like a CEO. Because if your dollars don't have a plan, they'll quietly quit on you. Move number 3, give every dollar a job. Look, I'm just gonna say it for what it really is. Here's how most people handle money. They get paid, look at their account balance, and think, nice, I can afford that new gadget. Then 10 days later, it's ramen noodles night all over again. The small move that separates wealthy people, they tell every single dollar exactly where to go before it even arrives. This is called intentional allocation, and it's basically the opposite of how 90% of people live. When your money has no plan, it disappears. When it has a mission, it multiplies. Here's a simple framework. 50% equals needs, rent, bills, survival. 30% equals wants, fun, experiences, flexibility. 20% equals growth, investments, debt payoff, savings. But wealthy people take it one step further. They automate this split. Remember, move number 1? Every dollar already knows its destination. That's why broke people wonder where their money went, and rich people tell their money where to go. It's not magic, it's management. Here, let me give you a real-world analogy. Imagine running a company but never assigning roles. No one knows who's in charge, nothing gets done, and chaos runs the show. That's your bank account without direction. Oh, and by the way, if you want to learn more about developing the stealth wealth mindset, go back and watch our previous videos to fully understand and adopt these habits. We've created specific videos to help aid you on your wealth building journey. Just subscribe and join the channel to always stay updated. But anyways, now once your money starts following orders, you can finally move on to the next step, making it work harder than you ever could. Because the next move? It's how ordinary people build extraordinary wealth quietly. Move number 4. Invest like you'll live forever, but spend like you might not. If you stop and really think about it, most people do the complete opposite. They spend like they'll live forever and invest like they might die tomorrow. They buy the shoes, the gadgets, the treat-yourself latte that somehow costs the GDP of a small village. Then they'll say, I'll invest when I have more money. But here's the wealth hack nobody teaches you. You get more money when you start investing earlier, even small amounts. Let's put it this way. If you invested just $200 a month starting at age 25, you'd have over $500,000 by the time you're 60, assuming a 7% return. That's $500,000 for doing almost nothing. Meanwhile, your friend who waits until they're ready at 35, they'll have less than half that, even if they invest double the amount. That's the power of time plus consistency equals quiet compounding. So the small move here, don't wait for extra money. Start with any money. Invest in an index fund, ETF, or even a high-yield savings to start the habit. You're not building wealth, you're building momentum. Real-world example. Warren Buffett made 99% of his net worth after age 50, not because of some secret stock, but because he never stopped letting compounding do the heavy lifting. And speaking of compounding, that brings us to the next small move, because this one doesn't just apply to money. It applies to every part of your life. Move number 5, master the compound effect outside of investing. Everyone talks about compound interest, but the rich know about compound habits. Wealth doesn't just multiply in your bank account, it multiplies in your behavior. Think about it. Reading 10 pages a day doesn't sound like much, but that's 12 books a year. Saving $5 a day doesn't sound like much, but that's $1,825 a year, plus interest. Learning one new skill a month doesn't sound like much, but that's 12 income boosters a year. The average person underestimates what small, consistent effort does over time. They want fireworks, not friction, but friction creates fire. This is how overnight successes are made. They just spent 10 years doing the same thing quietly. So the small move, create a system that rewards tiny consistency. Easy example, instead of saying, I'll save $10,000 this year, say, I'll save $27 a day. It's smaller, less scary, and your brain actually does it. Want to get rich slowly, but permanently? Stack small habits until the results become impossible to ignore. But of course, it's not just about building, it's about protecting. Because the next small move is something most people completely ignore until it's too late. Move number 6, protect your money from silent killers. Let me guess, you're probably thinking about investing, saving, earning more, but you're ignoring the sneaky assassins that kill wealth quietly. Inflation, taxes, and lifestyle creep. These 3 are like the silent trio of wealth destruction. You don't see them until your paycheck feels smaller and your bills feel bigger. So here's how the wealthy counter them. Inflation. They own assets that rise with inflation, like stocks, real estate, or index funds. If prices go up, their wealth goes up with it. Taxes. They use legal tax shelters, 401ks, IRAs, Roth accounts, HSA plans, because saving 20% in taxes is the same as earning 20% more money. Lifestyle creep. The quiet killer. Every raise becomes a reason to spend more. The rich avoid this trap by living like their income never changed. Want a real-life story? There are countless millionaires who still drive their decade-old cars, not because they're cheap, but because they understand one rule. Wealth is what you don't see. Every dollar you don't waste is a dollar that keeps working for you. Now that you know how to protect your money, let's talk about how to use it. Not just to survive, but to expand. Because the next move, it's how small thinkers stay broke and smart investors build empires. Move number 7, turn spending into investing. Here's a brutal truth. Most people spend to feel rich. The wealthy spend to get richer. Every dollar you spend either buys you a moment of pleasure or a lifetime of freedom. And most people keep choosing the first option. But here's the small shift that changes everything. Start turning your spending into investments. Example, instead of buying random courses, buy skills that increase your earning potential. Instead of flexing a new car, buy a rental that pays for one. Instead of treating every purchase as an expense, ask, will this make me money, save me money, or teach me how to make more money? If it does none of the above, it's not spending. It's self-sabotage. Think of it like this. Every dollar you own is a little employee. Your job is to assign them roles that bring more employees back. Almost like a $1,000 camera could be a fun expense. Or it could build a faceless YouTube channel that earns $10,000 a month in 2 years. Same purchase, different mindset. And speaking of mindset, this next move separates the people who stay stuck from the ones who quietly climb the wealth ladder. Move number 8, learn to play the leverage game. If you ever wonder why some people seem to do less but earn more, it's because they understand one important word, leverage. Wealthy people never trade time for money forever. They trade systems, people, and capital for time. Think about it. The average worker earns by the hour. The wealthy earn by the outcome. Small move here, start looking for leverage points. That could mean automating repetitive tasks, financial apps, software, delegating work you hate, freelancers, AI tools, building something once that pays you forever, a digital product, rental, video, or course. Because here's the golden rule. If your income stops when you stop working, you don't have wealth. You have wages. For example, a YouTube video, a blog post, a rental property, or a dividend stock. They all share the same DNA. You do the work once, you get paid again and again. That's leverage. It's quiet, powerful, and builds over time. But here's the problem. Leverage doesn't matter if you keep sabotaging yourself. And this next small move, it's how wealthy people avoid doing exactly that. Move number 9, stay boring when everyone else gets loud. You've probably heard the saying, money loves speed. But real money, real wealth, it loves patience. Most people lose money not because they're unlucky, but because they get bored. They jump from one trend to another, crypto this, AI that, meme stocks, side hustles, chasing dopamine, not dividends. Meanwhile, the quietly rich just keep doing the same thing. They invest, reinvest, and repeat. Wealth isn't sexy. It's steady. The longer you stay consistent with a boring plan, the more extraordinary your results become. Example, a guy who invests $500 a month for 20 years might look average. But at a 7% return, he's sitting on over $260,000. No viral moments, no hustle culture, just boring wealth. So the small move here? Pick a proven wealth system. Investing, real estate, business, and stick with it long enough to see results. Because the truth is, boring gets rich, excited gets broke. And that brings us to the final move, the mindset shift that turns trying to get rich into inevitable wealth. Move number 10. Think in decades, not days. Now, if I'm going to be completely transparent here, I feel like most people want millionaire results, but on microwave timing. They want to plant the seed today and eat the fruit tomorrow. Sorry to break it to you. Wealth doesn't work like that. It's a slow cooker, not an air fryer. Here's the truth. The people who build massive wealth aren't smarter. They're just patient enough to play the long game while everyone else keeps hitting reset. If you zoom out, the richest people in the world, Warren Buffett, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, all think in 10, 20, even 50-year windows. They're not asking, how much can I make this month? They're asking, what foundation can I build that keeps printing money for decades? And that's the small move right there. Stop chasing fast money and start building forever money. When you think long-term, your decisions change overnight. You stop buying liabilities. You stop panicking when the market dips. You stop comparing yourself to people who look rich but aren't. Instead, you start asking, what's going to pay me for the next 10 years? What can I build that doesn't need me in it forever? What will future me thank me for? Because that's how real wealth is built, through boring, patient, consistent execution. You want to know the real cheat code? Time is the greatest multiplier of money. If you invest $500 a month for 30 years at 7%, you'll have roughly $600,000. If you wait just 10 years to start, you'll end up with less than half of that. The difference isn't effort, it's time. So yeah, thinking in decades may sound slow, but it's actually the fastest path to freedom. Because while everyone else is chasing quick wins, you're quietly building something that lasts. A system that compounds, a mindset that endures, and a life that pays you back long after you've stopped grinding. The wealth game rewards patience. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to stay in the game long enough to win. And that's the secret no one talks about. Wealth isn't loud or instant. It's built quietly, over time, by people who stay focused while everyone else gets distracted. Now, after all of that being said, please, keep in mind that obviously, none of these moves will make you rich tomorrow. But together, they'll make you unstoppable. Because real wealth isn't loud, it's quiet progress. It's invisible habits that look small today. Until one day, people start calling you lucky. But you'll know the truth. You didn't get lucky, you just made small moves. Consistently. If this video helped you rethink money, don't stop here. Comment the words, "I will be wealthy," so I know who's all serious. Because knowing what to do is one thing, but knowing how to connect it all, that's how you win the money game. Quietly. As a matter of fact, if you want to know the real reason the rich never brag about money, we've created an entire video breaking it all down, and it's something you need to hear. Just click the video on the screen now, and we'll see you in the next one.